Hi there guys, welcome to Dinos Vault, and today I give you my first ride review of the 200NS ABS. Now all of you already know that I've already done a detailed first ride review of the 200NS way back, and it's all set to cross the 1 million mark, and you can watch that video by following the link appearing right up here. At the same time, you can also watch my detailed comparo of the 200NS taking on its arch rival, the RTR 204V, and you can watch that video as well by following the link appearing right up here. Now for now, this video contains the overview of the 200NS ABS model and my traditional or trademark braking test of showcasing as to how effective the ABS is. So without further ado, let's get started with this video. So the Pulsar 200NS ABS is finally here, and this was bound to happen sooner or later, especially in light of the fact that our government would be making ABS mandatory soon for bikes above 125cc, which I believe is a great initiative. The 200NS in this white attire reminds me of the White Ranger from the Power Rangers franchise. Now, one thing I immediately noticed and absolutely admired was the quality of paint that is vastly improved now. We get a glass sparkle finish that glitters like a precious jewel when light falls on the paint surface. So I really appreciate Bajaj for going the extra mile and giving us the best paint quality in the respective price range. Secondly, and most importantly, the obvious change is that the Pulsar 200NS now gets single channel ABS. Now please note that ABS is not standard on the 200NS. There'll be two variants on sale simultaneously. So the ex-showroom price here in Hyderabad for the non-ABS variant is around Rs 97,000, whereas the price for 200NS ABS variant is around Rs 1,09,000. Also, another thing to note here is that the 200NS, just like the RS200, gets only single channel ABS, which means ABS is operational only on the front wheel. Now, if you notice here in this video clip, you can clearly see the ABS sensors being present up front as well as at the back. Now, a similar setup is available on the RS200 as well, and many were confused as to why we get sensors at both ends, though ABS is operational only on the front wheel. Well, the answer to that is that the ABS system also has an additional function included as a bonus, which is called RLP, or Rear Wheel Liftoff Protection. So what basically happens here is that the ABS unit takes inputs from sensors present up front as well as at the rear and releases adequate braking force, thereby preventing the front wheel from locking up and also avoiding the rear wheel from lifting off the ground under harsh braking scenarios. Now, is single channel ABS enough would be another question on your mind. Well, the answer to that is dual channel ABS is preferable according to me, because that helps minimize the chances of amateur riders getting into trouble. Now, mature riders and seasoned riders already know that while applying brakes, we need to apply more pressure on the front brake compared to the rear brake. Experts maintain that we need to apply 70% pressure on the front brake and 30% pressure on the rear brake. Therefore, having single channel ABS is also enough, but dual channel ABS, if feasible, would be a better option in my opinion, especially for rookie riders or squids, to minimize their chances of a fatality. Now please note here that there is another significant change that's coming along with ABS for this new model, because for the non-ABS variant we get a 280mm pedal disc up front, but now for this new ABS model we get a larger 300mm pedal disc, which is really appreciable. The rear pedal disc though remains the same 230mm unit for both ABS as well as non-ABS models. Also, pedal discs offer better heat dissipation compared to conventional discs, and that is another point that works in favor of the Pulsar 200NS. Now, since this is the review of the ABS model, let's start out with my trademark braking test. You can see here that I'm doing speeds of around 60 km per hour, and I slam on the brakes really hard. You can see that the bike comes to a standstill in just 2.32 seconds, which is simply amazing. Now please note here that I'm applying more pressure on the front brake compared to the rear brake. Now talking about the ride feel, the bike was an absolute brute when it was first launched. Its comeback earlier this year was even more remarkable, like the Mark 47 Ironman suit, because all the shortcomings and the nitpickings were carefully addressed and improved upon. The bike became more refined, it offered a lighter clutch feel which came as a huge relief. The bike got a lighter throttle action, it got better quality seats, and new dual tone color schemes along with sensibly laid out body graphics. And finally, the engine offered superb refinement, sporty acceleration, and a racy throttle response. Well, the good news is that nothing has changed now as well. The bike remains absolutely the same. We get the same BS4 compliant 199.5cc DTSI engine that puts out 23.5 PS of max power at 9,500 RPM and 18.3 Newton meters of max torque at 8,000 RPM. Now this comes mated to a 6-speed gearbox. Now please note here that this is still the carbureted variant and the FI variant is not yet launched. Maybe Bajaj will launch it in the future, but as of now we get ABS for the carbureted variant. Now this bike is just as intriguing and engaging to ride as before. It is super smooth through the mid-range with no vibrations felt up to speeds of 90 km per hour. It responds well to throttle inputs and is incredibly agile, just about perfect to zip through the city streets. The steel perimeter frame and the rectangular tube section swing arm along with the longer wheelbase of 1363 mm lend the bike superb stability at higher speeds. The only addition now, however, is the added safety of ABS, which completely seals the deal and serves as the perfect icing on the cake. Therefore, braking as demonstrated earlier is a lot better now. The suspension is ideally tuned to offer a pleasurable and pliant ride through the pothole-ridden city streets, but at the same time the setup supports the chassis perfectly well even at higher speeds, thereby offering superb handling characteristics. Now talking about areas of improvement, I personally hope Bajaj offer a dual horn just like other Pulsars in their lineup, at least for our Indian market, because the single horn is very feeble and hardly audible, especially on the highways. Secondly, the rear view mirrors offer a good field of view, but their stalks are too short, which means you have to stoop down to get a clear view of what's happening behind you. Now, I would suggest that Bajaj offer taller rear view mirrors like the ones found on my Duke 390, such that just a glance would give us a clear view of the traffic following us. Thirdly, the tank capacity is just 12 litres, which is sufficient for city commutes, but with the biking culture really picking up at a rapid pace, we see more and more riders taking on touring and exploring as their hobbies, so a larger tank would offer better tank range in my opinion. Also, we don't get a gear position indicator among the readouts from the Speedo console, so I hope they include it soon. Now looking at other noteworthy specs, ground clearance is 169 mm, more than sufficient in city conditions. Seat height is 805 mm, quite comfortable for average height riders and people up to 6 feet tall. Now looking at the tires, we get 17-inch wheels with tubeless tires. We get a 100/80 tire up front and a 130/70 tire at the back. Mileage wise, I believe we can expect anything around 38 kmpl from this bike if ridden sensibly without over revving the engine. Well, I guess that's about it for now. I hope I covered all the information that you wanted to know about the new 200NS ABS. So until next time, this is Dino saying ciao. Take care, God bless, and ride safe.